Toy Drive for Pine Ridge is a charity organization based in Omaha, Nebraska, that currently operates out of Omaha. But began about 12 years ago, and they provide toys for underprivileged children on the Indian Reservation at Pine Ridge. They also have expanded to provide heat for the medical center as well as elders and people that can't afford that heat. Today we're going to talk about how it's basically a model for how you can create a nonprofit organization and how they can get started using this kind of structure that they've built. For some background on Pine Ridge, it's located in South Dakota. It's the part of the Sioux Nation, which is a term that they don't actually use that much there. They refer to the Lakota, Dakota, and Nakota, which are smaller groups that kind of share a culture and language. Many of the people there live in unheated trailers. They may have a wood-burning stove where they've been known to use things like their furniture to burn them for heat in bad winters. Larry Dunn, the founder of the Toy Drive, actually told me that it's the second most poverty-stricken area in the Western Hemisphere, which is second to Haiti. According to redcloudschool.org, which Red Cloud School is the Indian school on the reservation, there are 80% unemployment rate on the reservation. 49% of the people on the reservation live below the poverty line. And Nicholas Kristof of the New York Times has written that half of the population over 40 suffers from diabetes. Tuberculosis is at 8 times the national rate, and life expectancy is in the mid to high 40s. So the Toy Drive for Pine Ridge started after Larry Dunn had spent some time there learning about their culture and about the medicine and language and things like that, and part of that is to give something back, so he decided to create this charity. He started very small. He played a show. He's a musician, so he played a show with a couple of friends. They raised about $400 and a Jeep Cherokee full of toys, which they took up to give to some kids that he personally knew that had literally never received any Christmas presents before. And the reason that it continued is when he was asked, "Are you going to do this again next year?" he basically said, "How can I not after this experience?" So he looked to add donors, add more events and things like that. And just by word of mouth, a motorcycle club started a barbecue and show that they raised money at. A tattoo shop started giving away free tattoos for people that would come and drop off toys there. Excuse me. The local radio got behind it. There's a radiothon that happens every year now. And the Omaha Blues Society made their annual Christmas party a fundraiser for the event as well. They started getting more national attention. In 2011, a national recording artist called Cursive played their big concert, and Jay Medicine Hat, the late comedian who was also nationally touring, started donating one of his shows every year. So the first toy drive they did at a community center and just kind of gave away toys to, the first bigger toy drive they had people from the community come and pick out a toy for their kid, or the kids would come and pick out one for themselves. They started to grow and decided they needed to file for 501c, which is a longer process but makes them more of a legitimate recognized charity. They kept their operating costs at zero. Larry told me that they pay for their own gas, everything that is not toys or heat, propane heat, they pay for out of pocket. By 2012, they had reached $10,000 and a 24-foot Mack truck full of toys. One of the 8 districts that they serve, which is Porcupine District, they were able to actually give a toy to every kid that year. And that's when they realized that their cash was actually enough to start the heating fund and start providing that service as well. As I mentioned, those houses that do have heat use propane, which is a very, very expensive fuel. And in that area, it's kind of a rural area, so there's very few outlets for it, and the prices are higher. So they were able to negotiate better prices by buying in bulk and then distribute that to people on the reservation. David Swallow, who is a medicine man there, which is basically a political leader and a spiritual leader for the people, said that he does not remember a year that someone on the reservation didn't freeze to death. And he's approximately 60 years old, so that's every year of his life that he can recall. In 2012, because of the toy drive, the medical clinic was actually able to remain open all year, which sounds strange, but they normally can't pay their heating bills or pay their electric bills to stay open. That's the same year that the 501c was officially recognized. That opened doors for more fundraising because you can write off taxes when you donate to those groups. They started to receive donations that were bigger, like $500,000 and things like that. Corporations, eBay provided a $1,500 donation that year and a $4,500 donation the next year. After getting that recognition, one of the schools on the reservation, Our Lady of Lourdes, invited them to come do their toy drive in the school to make sure that all the kids got something. Because of that success, they were then able to get into the entire school system on the reservation. So in 2013, every kid on the reservation, not just in that district, actually got a toy because of this toy drive. And they started the winter with $11,000 in their heating fund. So to capsulize all this toy drive started with literally one person, a truck, acoustic guitar, a couple $100, and that's how it got off the ground. Today, it's a five-figure amount that they raised just for the heating fund alone, and they're servicing all of the kids with toys every year. So it, again, creates a perfect model of how this can start with a focused goal and starting small and then letting it gradually grow naturally and into what it is now.